Hi, I'm Melinda Van Fleet, and welcome to the Good Karma Success Coach podcast. I'm a confidence and mindset mentor and coach, best-selling author and speaker who helps women believe in themselves, build confidence, and take action. In 2009, my husband Ryan and I were laid off at the same time, and we moved to the Florida Keys without jobs, not knowing anyone, hardly any money, and we never even been here, but we made it. And now, not every day is sunshine and rainbows, but we're living our best lives. And all along in our journey, I've always said that someday when we get our quote unquote shit together, we will help others. So each week, my intent is to be relatable and bring you tactical tips, tools, share my learnings and stories that can help inspire or transform you wherever you are in your career or general life and make an impact. I strongly believe that if I can do it, you can do it too. So what's stopping you? Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's Good Karma Success Coach podcast. I am so excited and grateful that you joined me today. Thank you. I am dying to dive into this topic of energy and patterns. Why? Because I have truly learned that this is my superpower. Understanding people's patterns, even my own, and busting through them to get to really what is the core reason that you are not moving forward in your business or life, or you're just not happy, like you're just not feeling good. And let me tell you, I can see people's emotions through the internet. Like I can see how they feel through a video, through a picture, and so many people just keep running on autopilot and they're hitting their heads against the wall, and I can totally see this and feel this. So I wanted to share something in this podcast that's an example that happened, and it's a really great example. There's no bad feelings or anything towards the person, and I obviously won't mention their name, but it's more about me just recognizing what I think is really going on underneath the layers to see the pattern that probably needs to be worked on alongside the actual thing this person reached out to me for. So in that, I'm also going to be sharing some of my Black Friday coaching specials. Yay! I had decided to work with a coach that works on sales back in August. And it's not that I think I need help selling. That wasn't it at all. It was more about just getting some ideas and then having someone kind of be in my ear, like a little earworm, to keep me consistent with selling on the internet. Because if you start getting distracted by other people saying, you shouldn't sell so much and you need to post like this and you need to do this, that just becomes a distraction, and it was for me. So anyhow, so within her program, she talks about doing Black Friday specials, and I thought that was really, really cool. So I created a bunch of Black Friday coaching specials that are different than what I normally offer, and I'm going to kind of be dripping them in along the way, and I'll share more at the end. And then there'll also be the link in the show notes for you to check them out. So I'm recording this on Saturday. This is coming out on Sunday. So this is going to be a hot off the press podcast. Yay! So here we go. So what I've noticed over the years as a coach, and it becomes more and more apparent, is that people reach out to me for one specific thing. And then pretty quickly when we start to work together, or in this instance that I'm going to share through an email, I can totally pick up on intuitively that there are other things going on with that person. And again, it is truly like what I consider to be my biggest superpower is that I can pick up on things pretty quickly and then help to unravel them in a really positive and compassionate way, because seriously, I think I've been through almost everything. And so I understand, and just kind of start to get to what is really going on and how can we really move that person forward. And in this instance, the person reached out to me to pick my brain about podcasting. And this person wanted some free tips, wanted a free conversation. So what I had to do last year in 2021 for my own sanity, for my own business, for my own recognizing that this is not a hobby, this is a business, was to stop that, because that was going on a lot. And I really feel that I over deliver in terms of free content. Like, you can fill your boots with all my podcasts, you can fill your boots with blogs, with YouTube videos that are out there. You can even fill your boots with like things from my husband that he shares that are more mindset driven, not just about fishing. And so when you are a coach or have a small business in general, there is a point where you have to go, okay, this is not a hobby. I'm going to start charging for my value. And that's exactly what came up. So she reached out to me for some podcasting tips, and I just very nicely said, hey, I don't have pick your brain phone calls anymore. I can do a laser session with you, which sounds like that could be something that would help you. And here's my price. And my price for laser sessions, which is out there, is $333. And then it also includes 2 follow-up, like emails, if there's like further questions or they want me to look at something. And those laser sessions have worked out really, really well, because if you know me, you know I have done a ton of coaching in terms of buying other people's programs and courses. I've definitely put in the time. So gosh, podcasting, for example, like I did Podcaster's Paradise. That is a huge one. That was $2,000, and that kind of kickstarted. And then since then, I've definitely spent even more money learning about podcasting, plus having 3 podcasts and over 3 years of experience. So that's obviously a lot of money, time, and my knowledge, which I consider to be really high value. So the person responded back just very nicely. Like, again, this is nothing negative. This is just a really great example about making sure that the value was there kind of for the price, right? And I'm just summarizing what the email was. And immediately, my brain went to, wow, money mindset. Because she obviously thinks I have a value because she reached out to me. Otherwise, like, why would she have done that? But then she attached the money to it, which wasn't even a large amount of money, quite frankly. I spend way more money on coaching. And there are so many people that spend even more money than I do on coaching. Heck, my sales coach always talks about how her private mentor behind the scenes cost her $500,000. Like, it's just an abundant way to be in terms of understanding that hiring a coach or a mentor or a business consultant is a really good thing. And this person is also in that lane, so it could be a write-off. Like, what is $333 for an hour laser session that really gets at the nut of what you need and then also includes some follow-up? To me, it's like a no-brainer. I'm like, gosh, I would love to have had an expert podcaster for a 1-hour laser session way back when in 2018, instead of spending all this time and money. I spent 2 years in Podcaster's Paradise, which was $50 a month, learning, and I did that for 2 years, right? So gosh, I would have loved to have just one person that had been podcasting a long time give me some tips and tools, like what do I need to do, and also the ability to ask questions. Because as you know, if you've ever taken a digital course, like, you can't really ask questions. Or maybe you can do like a Facebook Live or something where you can ask a question, but they're not really going to go into it with you because they want you to sign up for private coaching, right? So they're not going to share everything in a Q&A on Facebook. Believe me, I've seen enough of those. And I'm not knocking those. Those are good too. But it's not going to get at exactly what you need and just be an honest one-on-one private conversation. So anyhow, so it just really was like, wow, my intuition kicked in so fast that there's obviously some money mindset in there. And this person, again, nothing wrong, just might not even be aware of it. Because if that was their first response and it's only $333, it is likely that they don't even like recognize that that is a subconscious belief, right? That is like deep in someone's subconscious that they immediately were like, oh, value, $333, right? So this is what I really think is so crucial in terms of moving forward. And whether or not you work with me as a coach, mentor, or business consultant, it's really important that you recognize that and perhaps who you may look to hire. Because this is also what I've come to realize over the years is that I have hired so many one-on-one coaches that were really just living in the 3D. Like they were just a coach for a specific niche, and they didn't walk you through any other patterns. They didn't like use their intuition to see if there was something else underlying that was blocking you from moving forward. Case in point, a marketing coach I've hired before, all we did was work on the marketing, and it wasn't even that great at the end of the day because she wasn't intuitive and she didn't get out of the 3D. Even an influencer that I had hired as a writing and marketing coach back in late 2019, when I look back at that one, that's actually kind of surprising too. And why I didn't work with her for a very long period of time, because our calls were kind of like, okay, this was my couple questions, and then she was like answered them, and then that was kind of it. Like she didn't pick up on any other signals that I was putting out there, or a word, catching a word that maybe I said that would show a block or a limiting belief or something that was holding me back. It was just pretty much like, okay, here's my questions, and then that was it. So now that I have much more experience and insight and wisdom into this lane, I can see why I didn't work with her for a very long period of time. Because quite frankly, when I stopped working with her, I was kind of like, gosh, this is really weird that I feel like I just don't need her anymore. And that's why she wasn't at that next level of coaching to really be walking the walk with me, right? And that's where I'm going. Is like when you pick someone that has not only a wide variety of experience, but also that's always doing the work. So they're walking with you. They're maybe just a step ahead of you, a couple steps ahead of you. I've heard that phrase, that terminology used out there in the coaching lane many times over the years, and it's so freaking true. I'm just maybe like 10 minutes ahead of you, right? My coaches and mentors that I have hired, that I work with, and I'm in 4 groups right now, like they're just a little bit ahead of me, right? Time doesn't matter. It's not about like a year ahead of me, 5 years ahead of me, nothing like that. They're just ahead of me. So they're embodying already like what I wish to embody. And so I learn from them through their courses, their programs, their Facebook Lives, their Q&As, all the things, right? So that is what is just super important to understand. Like, get out of the 3D. Get out of this paradigm that is like so old and tired to hire someone for like one specific thing. Because when you do that, it is really, really, really likely that you will still be stuck. Because that one thing, you might get a couple nuggets and be like, oh, okay, I learned something today. But is it really going to move you forward? I highly doubt it. Why? Because I've been there myself and I've seen it a million times. So it's just super important to really understand this whole concept of recognizing patterns, the energy behind them, and just what dimension are they working from, right? So when you work with me, yes, I'm going to share some 3D tips and tools because yes, we live in a 3D land. However, I like to think I live outside of the 3D land, and something I'm getting certified in, which I'm going to be so excited to be talking about more and more and more, is in 7D. Yes, it's in 7D, which brings me to talking about some of my Black Friday coaching specials. Again, I'm so excited. I'm so grateful that this sales coach, that I've been a part of her world and learning from her, and she was like, do Black Friday specials. I'm like, oh, how fun is that? So mine are just loaded with value because quite frankly, I can't believe I put them out there, but they're just super, super exciting. And the first one I'm going to share is about a full year. Yes, a full year, which is like nothing when you think about time. And even if you know or don't even realize how much work there is to do on yourself in this lifetime, a full year is nothing, but it's a full year of private one-on-one coaching every other week a call for $9,999. That is like amazing. It's like mind-blowing. And in that package, you're going to also receive what I haven't fully announced yet, but it has to do with the 7D. And that will likely happen in February timeframe as a start date. So I'm super excited about that. That's one of the programs. Another coaching program that I'm doing that's an amazing Black Friday special is 4 months of private one-on-one coaching for $5,555. So my normal one-on-one coaching is $2,000 a month if you do the pay in full version. So this is a significant savings on that. And I just really want people to be able to get the help they need. These are weekly phone calls to really move them forward, because I see it. Again, I see the energy that people are bringing to Facebook, to LinkedIn. I can see it in their videos. I can see it in their faces. And I just know there's so much work to be done. And that's in a good way. That's in a good way, because evolving and being proud of your progress that you have made over time is just one of the most rewarding things that we can do for ourselves. That is a gift. That is true self-care, is to be able to go, gosh, this is where I was a year ago, and this is where I am now. Fucking amazing. I have chills in my body when I say that, because that's how I feel. That's how I feel. Like when I look at pictures of myself from like 2018, 2019, I look so different. I look so different. And people comment all the time on my energy. They're like, you have such amazing energy. You know what, people? I worked on that. That's not how I was born. That's not how I was born. Like, I have worked on my energy. I've worked on clearing up limiting beliefs. I've worked on judgment. I've worked on triggers. I've worked on sadness. I didn't even know I had so much sadness in me until I started working with a private mentor 2 years ago. And she was like, you may think you're all positive in that, but you have so much sadness in your energy. And I was like, what? And then I started crying, right? So I see this in other people. I see this like on Facebook calls, on group Facebook calls. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited now that I can share that love and compassion and empathy, and obviously no judgment, because I was there to help other people. I can do the same thing. So some of the other things that I've put out there is all of my audios, which are normally $22 each, all of them for $22 total. So there's 4 right now. There's one called Release the Overwhelm. One is called Freedom from Overthinking, which is my most popular, because 9 out of 10 people are chronic overthinkers. Raising my hand high. I used to be one of those people. I am not anymore, because I walked the walk and do the things in this video. And one is about believe, and one is success tips for your business. And the 5th one is going to be about sleep. It's going to be some really, really, really amazing, out of this world, out of the 3D sleep tips that my husband and I use and do. And it's going to be kind of a mind-blowing audio, because it's not going to be just the typical things you may hear from, what's the Thrive woman, Arianna Huffington. Like I was like, oh my gosh, these things are just so like, you can find this information anywhere. No, this is going to be information that you have likely, I would be extremely surprised if you've heard it before. I would be actually shocked. So that would be the 5th, and that will come as a bonus in December when I record it after we move, because my husband and I are moving, which is a whole other like crazy thing that hardly anyone knows, all the behind the scenes mindset work I've had to do around that. But anyhow, and then the other thing is I have been wanting so badly to do a live course on couples, because if you think about it, Couples Mastery was released. It'll be 2 years this coming March. So I'm going to be pre-selling a course that'll be $88 in the pre-sale in the Black Friday. That'll be 6 modules. So when I go to actually sell it, it will be probably $444. So right now it's $88 in the pre-sale. So I'm super excited about that. And then the final Black Friday special is 1 year. This one is crazy. Like, I'm like nuts for doing this, honestly. It's 1 year of Voxer an email, so you can Voxer or email me, doesn't matter, of unlimited coaching for $999. So like $1,000. So what this program is, it's for someone who likes to work in sound bites, because Voxer and email, it's not meant to be super long. It's meant to be like quick questions, like moving the needle forward. That is what Voxer and email is really great for, is you had a little thing, how can I respond, and give you like a quick tip, a mindset shift, a reframe, something like that. It's not for like a 30-minute Voxer recording. It's really just for like sound bites, but moving the needle forward. So imagine you have someone in your back pocket for a year that's kind of just helping you move the needle forward on something. So it kicks off with a call, like a Zoom call or a phone call, to get context. You'd be filling out a questionnaire just so I understand, like, what do you do? You know, is this really kind of about social media and what platforms you're on? So I can do a little research on you too and just kind of understand. So when you leave a message on Voxer or send me an email, I know where you're coming from. But it's really for like working throughout the year, step by step, in sound bites. So it's like, okay, let's do this. Okay, here's what, here's some things to think about here. And then just kind of you keep moving at this pace that is your pace. So all of coaching is always self-led. I always want to make sure that's very clear. And you're using your coach and your mentor as like a friend, like a mentor, like who you can share stuff with, who you can ask stuff with. And at the end of the day, though, you have to be self-led to actually do the work. And one of the reasons why working with someone for a long period of time is really, really, really helpful is because scientifically, our brains, and spiritually too, because I actually heard this through Paul Selig's guides, our brains cannot handle an overflow of information. Our brains can only handle a nugget or two at a time. So many of us, especially if you're an overperformer like me, we think, someone gave me 10 tips and I'm going to be able to remember all of these and execute all these, but we can't. Like it's really, if you're one of those people that really can, and I'm pretty close, like it's really not something you should even be trying to achieve. Like if you can take one step forward a day or even a week, like you're in a really good spot. Because again, this is work over your lifetime that you should be proud of, not that, oh my gosh, I accomplished all this in a month and I'm done. Like that is just not how life works. So with all of these things, they're structured that you're going to be moving forward at a really consistent, comfortable pace that does not put you into overwhelm, that just makes you like happy and proud of yourself as you go along, and you build your confidence as you do that too. So anyhow, I'm so excited. You know what? The other thing I'm going to throw in just for kicks and giggles, so now I have to do adjusting on my things, is I have a course called Supercharge Your Transformation. And I think it's out there for $222. I think so. I'm going to slash it. I'm going to slash it to under 100. So I will update that too. So why not have 6? I like the number 6 better than 5. So I have 6 specials. Check out the show links. If you have any questions about one-on-one coaching, more than happy to chat with you for a few minutes. You may be new to coaching. You may not have like a comfort level yet, and that's okay. That is okay. Even though I talked about, coaching, it is really important to know that we all started somewhere, and to understand that, hiring a coach is making an investment in yourself. And sometimes people think that that's like maybe going to the dentist, which I'll admit is not very fun. But I love working with coaches. Like I love that I have coaches. I look forward to their calls, and I'm so grateful for them. So when you can do like a mindset shift and realize that this is really helping you in the long term, and it's not like going to the dentist, right? Or it's something else that you don't enjoy doing. It's really an investment in yourself for your future. So it's whether you want to feel better, you want to be happy, you want to clear up the sadness, you want to clear up your money limitations, you want to improve your business ROI, you want to start a new business, you hate your job, like all these things, right? There's so many things. You're having troubles in your relationships, in your marriage, in your partner. All of these things are things you can work on. These are things you can work on. So why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you work on that? Why wouldn't you work on that? That investment is the best investment that you can ever make, and it's going to have long-term effects versus buying a new handbag or a pair of shoes where you get like a little endorphin hit and then you're like, oh yeah, did I really need this other handbag? No, you didn't. So especially if you are an entrepreneur or 1099, you can write it off. And I'm all about write-offs. So anyhow, so that's the scoop. My point is, reach out to me if you are new to coaching and you have some questions. I'm more than happy to answer them. My discovery calls are not a hard sell, and they're also not a coaching call. So I just want to be really clear, because the old paradigm is that you would use a discovery call to like kind of show them that you can help them and then go into a sell. No, my discovery call is truly just if you have some questions and you want to kind of share with me maybe what the situation is and just see if I think it's a good fit. I'm all for that. This is not a hard sell. So check it out. Email me at info@melindavanfleet.com. And until next week, be grateful, be curious, always be learning. And you know what? Have some fun too. Happy Thanksgiving if you're in the US. Thanks for listening.